Hey there guys, DMO73 here, bringing you another feature match for the week. This week I am playing a green, white, red Wukong kind of control list versus my buddy Matthew, who is playing a green, red Sylvia Burn-gro. I say that in because of the sense that it is very aggressive, but it also has a lot of burn package in it to be able to close the gap. So it's pretty interesting. The Wukong control list is kind of designed kind of the same way that Sylvia is its kind of finisher is the J ruler. So you have two kind of J ruler heavy decks here. The whole point of Wukong is just to get yourself to a position where Wukong can just swing twice, one turn and then one other turn, and then just finish the game off. And Sylvia is designed to put your opponent down so low that Sylvia can just flip and finish the game off in one fell swoop. So it'll be interesting to see how these two play out. So just waiting for Matthew to resolve his mulligans here. And we're ready to go. So there's Sylvia, there's Wukong. I will be on the draw. He put me on the draw, which makes sense. He's an aggro player, but unfortunately he didn't have a turn one play. And more unfortunately for him, I opened up triple bow, triple Artemis bow against an aggro deck like this, especially one that has Sylvia, is pretty strong. That move kind of in itself kind of wins me the game, just because of the fact that Sylvia is not going to be able to swing really at all, as long as those bows don't get used up. So good spot for me. Matthew, during his upkeep, uses Lightning Strike, takes me down to 3,500. Attempts to play a Guinevere, and passes. I'm going to use Lightning Strike before he ends his turn to get rid of that Gwen. I tap for Stone, hit a Gusting Skies. And I choose to pass. Thinking about whether or not I want to pass. Matthew draws into his turn, taps for another Stone. Pays 3 and attempts to play a Priscia, and I just Wall of Wind it. So again, the control package here is really working well. And then at the end of his turn, I'm going to use my last Stone to grab a Flying Cloud. This is one of the things that's so great about Wukong, is his kind of way to make himself super strong is something that he can just search for. So if you're playing a control shell like this, and you've got that extra will at the end of the turn, you can just search for them over the course of time, playing the control game until you have all 4 in your hand. So like you see, I just haven't had the need to play any cards yet, other than the bows, and I'm just searching. So he plays Priscia. He attempts to swing in response. I'm going to flash in Melfi and then flash in a second Melfi so that the Melfis will trigger their effects. I could just do bow, but again, I'm trying to save the bows here. And again, Melfi has the errata, so I'm just making it so that Priscia is not going to deal any damage this turn. So just to make sure that she doesn't get blocked and killed, he just gives her flying because he has no reason not to at that point. And then in the end phase, I'm going to use, at the start of my turn, I'm going to use the Melfis to search for the clouds because their summoning sickness is gone. So that's 2 clouds down. Or the 3 clouds total. And then I'm going to draw for my turn. Hopefully drawing into the 4th cloud, but no such luck. Play a Levitine, so this is great because like now Wukong's going to be able to flip, he's going to have flying, and he's going to have swiftness. I'm going to grab the grab the 2 guys from his trigger, so he grabs 2 of his little guards off the trigger. This is mainly, I think, kind of just to put additional pressure in the next few turns. I've said it before, I don't necessarily really like his little minions that much. I don't think they do a ton, and they're pretty expensive to play, so I don't really think they're necessary. But now I'm just going to activate Wukong's ability to put flying clouds into the field 3 times. So now he's a 16/16 with flying. I'm going to spend that other will just to be able to play a elf, because that way next turn I can probably play both of his little minions. I'm going to swing in the air for 16 and make it 18, so down to 22 damage. And then I just pass the turn. So like I said, next turn, if he can't, I mean, there's no real way for him to kill that Wukong, being a 16/16. I've got the bows to protect it, and if Sylvia flips, and I've got Levitine to kind of sacrifice any of my creatures that Sylvia might try and target. So this game is pretty much over, because he knows he's going to be taking lethal next turn. Because I'm going to be able to play the 2 minions, which will pump him up to being a 20/20, and then I can just tap Levitine to make it a 22, or I can just sacrifice all my creatures to make him a 22. So Sylvia's going to flip, and I wait for him to target something. He goes to target Wukong, and I'm okay with that. And then he goes to swing in with Sylvia, and I just use all the 3 bows, because Matthew forgot that it can hit J-rulers. So at that point, Sylvia is dead, and he just scoops the game at that point. So we go on into game 2. So game 2 here, we are going to be, he's going to put me on the draw again. I'm not necessarily sure if that's the right call, putting a control list on the draw. I do get the, I mean, it is his choice, and he is Burn, so he wants to try to go fast, but he technically is giving me 1 step closer and better fuel for my control cards. But we'll see how it goes for him this time. So I mulligan 1 away. Trying to see what he wants to mulligan. I don't think he mulliganed any. Plays the redstone. Unfortunately, still doesn't have a turn 1 play. I think that if I was in Matt's position there, I would have mulliganed for a turn 1 play. I mean, you don't want to really miss that a ton. He is just going to do what he did last game and lightning strike me off the top, but it's not as good as playing like that turn 1 Gohan where it can't necessarily be immediately answered. Plays the Lancelot. And I'm going to take the damage, going down to 29. And at the end of his turn, I'm going to flash in the Melfi. And then before my draw, I'm going to search, on my turn, I'm going to search for a Magic Cloud. So I essentially turned Energized into something that can be reused over and over and over again. That's why I really like Energize with like Magic Stone Analysis or Melfi, because you can convert that temporary will into a permanent will source, and I think that's kind of the best way to make use of it. Because with 600 defense, you know, it's outside of, you can't Thunder it and stuff like that, or you can't Lightning Strike it, and so it's going to be a little bit safer. So I tap for that stone, and then I just pass the turn. Taps for a 3rd red source. Swings in for 600. Triggers to burn Melfi, nothing happens. I'm going to go ahead and do Lightning Strike and Bow on it. He's going to play Blood Boil in response to pump it up +8/+8. And so then I'm going to flash in a 2nd Melfi to prevent all the damage that Lancelot would be dealing that turn. Because I played the Lightning Strike, so Melfi's trigger will go off. So essentially, I saved myself some life, I made him waste some cards, and now that Lancelot's off the board, because it'll die at the end of the turn. And then, before my draw on my turn, when Melfi has lost Summoning Sickness, I'll just grab another Flying Cloud. So again, it's this kind of natural progression with these floating, will sources at the end of turns and beginnings of turns to get these clouds out that just makes Wukong just kind of behemoth. And as you saw, I do have a Levitine in my hand, so I'm again just searching for these kind of finisher pieces at this point. Tap for another stone, get another green, white Gusting Skies stone. Attempt to play a Sacred Elf to ramp ahead a little bit. I pass the turn there. At the end of his turn, he's going to go ahead and Demon Flame the Sacred Elf. Doesn't want me ramping too far ahead, which is a strong, which is a good idea. Taps for that 4th stone. Plays another Lancelot. He's going to swing in. I'm going to accept the damage here, and that's because of what I have in my hand. I'm going to play Glorious from my hand and kill the Lancelot. I did that Glorious because just in case, it's another way to kind of kill Sylvia. But in that situation, I just wanted to put more pressure on the board, and so I just decided to go ahead and flip and kill here, because this way, if he does flip Sylvia, I have a way to next turn. If he flips Sylvia next turn, it's not going to get him any stones, and so all he's going to be able to do is play Sylvia. That's why I wanted to kill the Lancelot right off the bat. And with my Levitine in my hand, there's no way he's going to kill anything on my side of the board. So again, it's just putting him in a position where his J-Ruler is not going to do as much. So I'm going to search for the last Flying Cloud. So I have all 4 of them. And I'm going to pay swing for 6. Just put it at 34. Now here I'm considering how I want to flip over Wukong, and whether I want to swing in or whether I want to just kind of have him out on board as a pressure option. But with my life being at 2300 and him being, at maximum 5 will, I'm not too concerned. So I'm going to play all 4 of the Flying Clouds. So now Wukong is an 18-18. Play Levitine, so I have Swiftness. Play the second Levitine. And tap them both and deal 22 damage in the air with Wukong, putting him down to 12 life. So now he's essentially on a 1-turn clock. Like, he has to kill me this next turn, otherwise he's just over, because 12 damage is also the amount of damage that I can deal with 2 Melfis and Glorious. So either way, he's staring down lethal from my creatures, and he's staring down lethal from Wukong. So he has to just go for lethal in this one moment. So during the upkeep, he's going to play Bombardment, which will take me down to 17. So now he has to think about how he wants to try to do this, because he knows he only has 1 shot here. See, he's got Blood Boil. It looks like he's got Blood Boil, Flame Sprite, and Athena in his hand. So he taps for stone. Pays 3 for Athena. So she's a 7/7 with Swiftness, right? And she can burn, but that would only be an extra 600 damage. So he spends it on the Blood Boil to give it +8/+8, and he's 200 short, and he knows it, and there's no way for him to get lethal there, so he just puts me down to 200, passes the turn, and then finishes the game. So there you have it, guys. That was the match. Thanks for Matt for being able to play with me. Hope you guys enjoyed the list. Thanks for Kiran for sending me the list and letting me play around with it. So deck profiles will be up later this week, and until next time, this is DMO73 signing off.